What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Visualante, you're watching the Visualante Effect, and today's going to be an introduction to a new series, games under $10. Most of these games are going to be based on prices from Best Buy or GameStop, and I compared the prices between the stores, and I found the cheapest one, and I give you the cheapest price from which store. Now this is of course based on US prices, so if you're from London or if you're from Australia, I believe Australia is, they usually have substantially higher prices. It's not going to be the same thing, but I assume the games would be cheaper depending on where you are. If they're cheaper here, they're most likely going to be cheaper over there as well compared to the other games. But anyway, today I have a list of 20 games, and it's going to be first-person shooters. Now these games, not all of them are great. I'm not saying these are the best games in the world, but some of them are actually gems, and they fall sometimes even a lot under $10. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you the review scores from GameSpot, IGN, and Game Trailers. That way you have a better idea. Even though I don't always agree with all these reviews, but you have a better idea as to the score for the game and what type of game it is in terms of quality. And also you have some gameplay that is going to be available right here on the side, so you can just have a better idea as well. So anyway, let's get to this. First game is Battlefield Bad Company, and from GameStop it goes for $4.99. The score from GameSpot was 8.5, from IGN was an 8.6, and from Game Trailers it got an 8.6 as well. So it's a pretty good game, pretty solid, and definitely for $4.99 you're winning. The second game I have here is a bit unknown and is probably not as good. NPPL Championship Paintball 2009. I actually have a copy of this, and this goes for $9.99 at GameStop. And the game is so, it's so basically under the radar that none of the reviewers gave it a score. Now based on what I played with it, the graphics are not great at all. They're basically PS2 graphics, even though it's on the PS3. Again, these are PS3 games. So the graphics are not great. You can see right here on the side. And the gameplay feels kind of like you're floating a little bit. But if you're a paintball fan and you want something a little bit different than the typical first-person shooter, you might want to just give it a try, but I'm not promising you that you can have a lot of fun. You might enjoy it, depending on who you are. So it's $9.99 at GameStop. Tarak from GameStop is $6.99. GameSpot review of 7, IGN 7. Game Trailers, it got an 8.3. And I played this game. It's a great game. The only quarrel I have with it, and some people might have with it, is that it doesn't stick to the Tarak story. That's one. For me, that's not a big issue, but for others it may be. Another thing is, for me, I feel like he's a bit too short in terms of when you're playing. You feel like you're too close to the ground. Like it's a short first-person shooter. There's a big combination of different weapons that you can use. Bow and arrow. There's different types of guns, plasma, whatnot. You can mix and match. You can have dual guns on your hand, kind of like Halo. So I really did enjoy this game. I didn't finish beating it, but it's an enjoyable game so far. Next game is Brink, and if you remember that it came out 2011, May 2011 I believe, and it already came down to $7.99 used, and actually $9.99 as well new if you want to get it new from GameStop. You don't need the online code to go online. You can just go online with no online code, and the reviews gave it from GameSpot 6.0, IGN gave it a 6.0, and Game Trailers gave it a 7.9. I haven't played the game yet, even though I have it, so I can't really give you my opinion on it. But from what I heard is that the reason why they gave it such low scores in the first place is because it had a lot of bugs in the beginning, and to my understanding, the bugs were fixed afterwards. So it's supposed to be a better game now, technically, but it's better off playing as a co-op. Next game I have here is Enemy Territory Quake Wars. Again, these are all first-person shooters. There's going to be other lists which include third-person shooters, third-person action, horror games, etc. So this is going to be a pretty good series. So we have here Enemy Territory Quake Wars, and it goes for $7.99 at GameStop. GameSpot gave it a 6.5, IGN gave it a 5.3, and Game Trailers gave it an 8.7. I believe it's an online game. I'm not sure if it's like Unreal Tournament. I haven't played this one, so I can't really tell too much. But Game Trailers usually gives a more accurate score in my opinion. So, and you can see here that there's a range in the scoring between all the reviewers. Anyway, next game is Resistance: Fall of Man. Now this was a launch title for the PS3 and pretty much saved the PS3's launch, and it goes for $4.99, and it's a pretty solid game. Got an 8.6 from GameSpot, a 9.1 from IGN, and a 9.0 from Game Trailers. and based on my playing it, I really enjoyed it. The graphics now are not going to be on par with games that are available now on the system, but it wasn't too bad. And the gameplay, because the fact that it was an older game and there wasn't DualShock 3, there's no rumble function as far as I remember. I don't know if they actually patched or updated that, but that's basically the only thing. Other than that, the story's pretty good and the game itself is pretty solid. Next is Resistance 2, which is a much better game in my opinion, and that goes for $9.99 at GameStop, pre-owned. And again, the prices I'm giving you, these are the lowest prices that are found between GameStop and Best Buy. And you're probably going to be able to find them on eBay or Amazon for maybe even cheaper, but you might have to pay shipping costs. So this is basically you go into the store, you're picking it up, it's going to be this solid price. So I guarantee you, it's either this or you're going to find it for lower. So GameStop gave it a 9.0, Resistance 2. IGN gave it a 9.5, and Game Trailers gave it a 9.1. So it's a pretty solid game, and it's much bigger than the first game. Medal of Honor, it costs $9.99 at GameStop, and it got a 7.5 at GameSpot, and it also got a 6 at IGN and an 8.1 at Game Trailers. So it's a bit of a mixed bag here. MAG for the PS3 is a PS3 exclusive. That's $9.99 at GameStop right now. I don't believe there's an online code that you need to go online, because this is basically an online game. It's a massive online game. And it got an 8.0 from GameSpot. It got from IGN, it gave it a 7.0, and from Game Trailers it gave it an 8.2. Next game I have is Far Cry 2, the sequel to the epic Far Cry 1, which initially came out on the PC, and I think it was ported to the Xbox afterwards. But that one goes for $9.99 at GameStop. GameSpot gave it an 8.5, IGN gave it an 8.8, and Game Trailers gave it an 8.7. And next we have another PS3 exclusive, which is Killzone 2. It's another epic game. The graphics are amazing, especially at the time. This one is $9.99 at GameStop. It got a 9.0 from GameSpot. It got a 9.4 from IGN and a 9.2 from Game Trailers. So it's a pretty much solid score all around from all of the, and it's only $9.99. So Timeshift, this one's $4.99. It's an interesting first-person shooter in my opinion. I really loved playing it. I completed the game about a year ago, and it's $4.99. GameSpot gave it a 6.5, IGN gave it a 7.6, and Game Trailers gave it an 8.3. And I definitely have to agree with Game Trailers on this one. I definitely feel like it's an underrated game, very underrated game, especially for the price, $4.99, and the product that you're getting. The only thing I would say is that the story is lacking, but the gameplay itself is solid. And it has an element where you play with time. You use time in a different way that I haven't really seen in other games. It's not just you slow time, but you can reverse time, you can slow time, and I don't remember what was the third one. But it was pretty cool when you search up what you can actually do. So that's Timeshift. I really enjoyed the game. Next game, like I said, not every game is going to be good. I'm just giving you the ones that are for the cheaper prices, and not all of them are going to be good. Some of them are going to be horrible, but it's up to you. So this one is Turning Point, Fall of Liberty, and this one pretty much got a bad score all around. It's for $2.99 at GameStop, so it's pretty much nothing. And it's GameSpot gave it a 4.5, IGN gave it a 5, and Game Trailer didn't even rate it. That's basically how bad they thought it was. But you can check it out for yourself. It's only $3. You can make your own score. And again, these scores obviously they're based on the $60 value when it first was released. So, you know, maybe they would have given it better scores if it was for a cheaper price. Next game is Haze, and that's $5.99 at GameStop. GameSpot gave it a 6, IGN gave it a 4.5, and Game Trailers gave it a 6.2. I haven't played Haze, I haven't played Turning Point, even though I haven't played them yet. Unreal Tournament 3, it's a great game, great online game. I believe they still have an online community right now. I played it very recently I played it a couple of months ago, and there was an online community then. And this one is only $2.99, and all around it got really good scores. GameSpot gave it an 8.5, IGN gave it a 9. And it's basically the fun element of Unreal Tournament 3 is the online. The online's amazing. I really enjoyed it, especially if you're into first-person shooters. These were all GameStop prices, and from what I compared between that and other stores, I found GameStop to be the better deal in regards to these games. But for the following games, I found Best Buy to be the better price, and this is the price for Best Buy. Call of Juarez, Bound in Blood. That's $7.99 at Best Buy. GameSpot gave it an 8.0, IGN gave it a 7.5, and Game Trailers gave it an 8.0. Next we have another good game, The Chronicles of Riddick, Assault on Dark Athena. That's $9.99. I think also GameStop has the same exact price, $9.99. So there's really no difference between that one, either Best Buy or GameStop, depending on where you want to get it. And again, these are pre-owned prices. So it's $9.99. GameSpot gave it a 7.0, IGN gave it a 7.4, and Game Trailers gave it an 8.4. And this one, The Chronicles of Riddick, Assault on Dark Athena, also comes with Butcher Bay. You basically get 2 for 1. Next game is Time Crisis Raising Storm, and that's for $9.99. It's a PS Move game as well. You can play with the PS Move, or you can just play with the regular controller. It's $9.99. GameSpot gave it a 6.0, IGN gave it a 4, pretty low, and Game Trailers also gave it a 4.8. Time Crisis 4 for $9.99, also at Best Buy, and GameSpot gave it a 5.5, IGN gave it an 8.0, Game Trailers gave it a 6.4. So that's a real mixed bag all over the place, and that's Time Crisis 4. So for the PS3. James Bond 007 Quantum of Solace is for $9.99 at Best Buy. I believe it's the same price at GameStop. I don't remember, to be honest with you. But GameSpot gave it a 7.0, IGN gave it a 7, and Game Trailers also gave it a 7.5. So that's been my list of 20 games under $10 for first-person shooter genre. And stay tuned for the next video, which is going to be on the 10 games under $10 that are under the genre of horror games. There's one of them that's a real surprise. I was shocked at the price when I found that. You definitely don't like this one. Stay tuned. Peace.